thank you for joining today. Whether you're experienced mentor, we've just lost somebody, or completely new to this role, just wanted to have a session designed to help build your confidence, strengthen your mentoring skills, and make the most out of the tools and templates that are available to you through Read It Women in Technology and the Guider platform as well. So next slide, please, Kevin. So here's what we're going to cover today. We'll look at the key skills that underpin effective mentoring. We'll clarify reporting responsibility so that everyone feels confident about what's expected. And we'll also explore practical strategies to keep mentees engaged and motivated. And finally, I'll share some best practices, tools and templates that can help you use it, help you do all of that. And you can show them how to use them in the right way. I know that Kevin's done some mock-up for us there on the way. So let's start with the fundamentals. Great mentoring is built on a few core skills: listening, actively showing empathy, supporting goal setting, and offering balanced, constructive feedback. So a strong mentor is also a role model, so someone who guides ethically and adapts to different mentees' needs and styles. So how you will find that the way that you behave and interact with your mentee will change dependent on what they want, their characteristics, just how you interact with them. I find that I do adapt that between my mentees that I've got. Next slide, please. So a thriving mentoring relationship doesn't happen by chance. It starts with setting clear goals and expectations on both sides, scheduling regular focus sessions and keeping communication open, and keeping an honesty also helps build that trust. And as always, confidentiality and appropriate boundaries are essential. Your emails just come through, Kevin. Obviously my firewalls are working well today. So yeah, so if we just move on. So good notes can transform your mentoring sessions, capture insights, questions, action points as you go. I also include, if we talk about like Eat the Frog, some sort of quick guides for things dependent on what comes up in that mentoring session. I do have some sort of one pages as well, so I tend to put those in my notes, and I leave all my notes in Guider so that the mentee can go back and have a look at those and check on those. Also, I use them myself, so before I have a call with my mentee, I go back and refresh myself to what we spoke about last time. Or a couple of sessions ago, just so that it's fresh in my mind what's going on with that mentee currently. So after each session, I do summarise the takeaways so that nothing gets lost. I also, there's a little button that says collaboration, so make sure you tick that so that both parties can see it on the shared notes where appropriate, so that you can just keep track and go back. Okay, next slide, please.
Yeah, on that, Ingrid, do you want to show, is there anything in Guider you think would be useful to show on the screen very quickly, or?
Just in case maybe anyone doesn't know where the notes, how to add notes, if you could show that, that would be great. Thank you.
Of course, I'll just scoot my window in. So I'll let you speak for this, Ingrid, but basically this is the relationships tab that you'll see. So when you log into Guider, you'll be presented with the dashboard. Obviously where you can pick whether you want to do things with your mentor or mentee profile, but active relationships you'll get into via the top here. So when you click relationships, it will show you live relationships and then any archive relationships, and you simply click into the one that you want to do stuff with. And then we could talk to you a little bit about how she uses notes in this space.
Yeah, so if you click on view all notes, and then you can see down on the bottom left, it's got new note, yeah, all there. So I always do one, I put session 1 in there normally, and I put the date in there so that just to remind me when it was, because I obviously don't know how many sessions I'm going to have with this mentee, how long the relationship's going to be, and I just normally put this in. So I make sure that I put the topic of it. I list, all of the bits that we've come, any actions on me, on the mentee, just general reminder of that conversation, and yet they click that collaborate, and then both parties are able to see that. So without seeing
so
that,
if there
it's
are any
only
notes
yourself.
that you want to just be for yourself, if you don't click collaborate, they won't get shared. So if you want to make a note about something, but it's not a note you want your mentee to see, don't click collaborate on that specific note, basically.
I don't think I've done any of them. I don't.
You never know.
I haven't written anything.
So when we save the note, you'll see that they suddenly they build up down the left-hand side. So if we were just to add a couple more, for example, you'll see that they'll build up down the left-hand side, and in each specific note there is a timestamp there. So even if you haven't added the date to the title, it will be timestamped on the platform.
Yeah, but obviously, if you go back in, edit something to that note, then that timestamp would be updated.
Yeah.
So that's just how I use it. And don't know if I've got any of my mentees on the call. I think I have. They'll have a big raft of that, and if it's certain topics like setting boundaries or something, then I normally leave them a quick reference guide on that, or if there's other topics that we want to delve deeper in, I put a separate note section on that, and I just put that topic as a title. So these are just some examples of how core mentoring skills show up in real situations. So listening means giving space for your mentee to lead the conversation. Feedback can follow the situational behaviour impact model to keep it specific and constructive. And goal setting often works best when you co-create smart objectives. So I'm sure everybody knows what a smart objective is here on this call. If not, raise your hand. And motivation can simply be celebrating the small wins with your mentee and what they've achieved during their time since the last call. And strong boundaries also help maintain some professionalism and some trust there. So being part of this is noticing engagement patterns. So I know I've noticed some of this as well. I've spoken to Kevin a few times about people that have matched with myself and then seem to have dropped off a cliff. So tools like Guider do allow you to track that. So although we were having a conversation with Kevin about the sessions, it doesn't show if somebody attended that session or not when you've created a session. Obviously, you can log feedback. So if someone doesn't attend the session, I just put in the notes, session, whatever, with the date, and mentee didn't attend. And then I always try and reach out to them as well through the Guider app and just sort of, is everything okay? What's happening? So if the engagement dips, obviously follow up, as I said, proactively, or share your concerns with Kevin and get some guidance. And I know I've had to do that on a couple of occasions.
A key update there. So 2 things to mention is nothing you put in the notes is visible to me. So they're completely confidential between both parties, which means that if you're using the notes to say didn't attend, that still won't get back to me. One of the features that was always present in Guider, but we didn't have turned on, is surveys. So we've had that switched on as of yesterday or this morning. So after every single session now, the mentor and mentee will receive a survey, 4, 5, 6 short questions, just to capture how successful that particular session was. And the first question is, did the session take place as planned? So if you are presented with the survey, please complete that either way, because then that's the best way for me to identify that you booked a session that was meant to happen and for some reason or other it hasn't happened, because then I can start to see where you need support and obviously get in touch and chase the mentor or chase the mentee, depending who the guilty party is that hasn't turned up for that session. Over to you, Ingrid.
Okay, so I think that's all there. So I mean, I've just used the identify the drop-off patterns. You know, I've had people that I've reached out to saying thanks for the match and sent 2 or 3. You can actually see when people have read the message on Guider as well. They get like a little eye on there. So yeah, I think just tried to track, because obviously they're using this slot that somebody else could potentially use. If you've restricted yourself to, I don't know, 2 mentees on your profile, then you're not going to get anybody else if they're in that slot. And Kevin can walk you through how to retire that relationship, end that relationship. Also, if you, I'm jumping ahead, we've got a slide on that, haven't we, Kevin, about finishing that, so I will leave that. So next slide, please. So your first discovery call sets the tone, really. So spend time getting to know your mentee, their ambitions, what support that they're looking for, what are they expecting to get out of that, what help are they looking to get. This will evolve as time goes on as well. They may just want it for a short time, or there may be something that is going to carry on having that and building on that relationship. And yeah, you're going to be traveling with them through their own journey as well, which is it's lovely to be able to do that. So introduce yourself and your background. Tell them how you think you can help them where you can. I think be open and honest if there's a topic that they want to work on where it's maybe not your strong point. If you know of another mentor in the program, then you could always maybe work on that section and then say they could move to another mentor or something like that. But obviously just be open and honest with them and give them that option. It is their journey and we're here to help them and make sure that they get the best guidance that they can have. So agree on a structure, what goals are going to work for you all. If you can get an idea of how long the relationship's going to last, as I say, some will tend to go on, which is wonderful, and I think that's a great opportunity for both mentee and mentor when that happens. And it just gives you both a sense of clarity and a sense of commitment of what you're both signing up for. Okay, thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, I think just to double down on that point really around agreeing the structure and then formalizing that with a contract, because one of the things that's quite unique about this program is that we don't impose a set structure. So your relationships can be as long or as short as they need to be. They can have sessions as frequently or as infrequently as you need to have them. And you might decide that you're going to have all your sessions through the video tooling guider, or you might actually be local enough to say, well, she's going to come to my office, or we're going to go for a coffee or whatever. So because you can choose whatever you want to, we ask you to make sure that both parties actually understand what has been decided. And if you can put that in writing between each other, but also share a copy with us so that we know what we're supposed to be keeping an eye on and making sure it is happening, then all the better, really.
Yeah, those are available those can be downloaded. You've got sample templates of those, haven't you, available?
Yeah.
So follow-ups where you can build some momentum really there. You send a thank you, a recap after each session, confirm your actions, etc. I sometimes just say, oh, I've done all the notes now, so that the mentee can go and have a look there. It's the mentee's responsibility to book the next session, make that clear. I tend to ask, when would you like your next session? Would you like another session? And that's sort of part of the closing of the session that I'm on. So obviously we will do that, and we can agree a time and a date. You will get some mentees that they might be going on holiday or something and say that they'll reach out. You may have to do a follow-up on that. I've had occasions where I've just had to say, oh, I've not heard from you for 4 weeks. You were going on a 2-week holiday. Is everything okay? Do you still want to continue with sessions? So yeah, and if not, just maybe mention it to Kevin. There might be something else that you're not aware of. So sometimes people might leave a business and they're using their business address rather than their personal address, for example. or they've gone on long-term sick all of a sudden. So it's always good just to touch point with Kevin if you haven't got a sort of relationship outside of that guider thing. Suki, you just got a chat here. What's Suki saying?
It was just a bit of a random question around whether somebody does choose to meet outside, meet face to face. From a Reed mentoring perspective, is there a safeguarding policy in place that people can be referred to if there was something that was to arise?
A very good question. We don't have a formal written safeguarding policy to direct people to. Within the mentoring contract, there are a code of conduct, so how we expect people to behave, and as part of the onboarding of new members, mentors are on the platform because they are known people to us. They have either been referred by somebody that's part of the program and come in that way, or if they approach us as a complete stranger, we'd have a conversation with them and then chase a reference for any completely unknown entities to make sure that they're fit and proper people to be part of the program. So we'd hope that there wouldn't be any issues, but obviously if ever there was a scenario in person where somebody felt uncomfortable, then they should come to me and raise that, and then we can deal with that specifically. Yeah.
Right, thank you.
Good question.
I would probably suggest maybe, do that after you've met a couple of times online, so you sort of both parties are comfortable maybe as well. I don't think there's nothing that says you can't do that. As Kevin said, I think normal common sense should prevail is the point here.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, and Ingrid, I think I'm fairly safe in saying if anybody does want any support around how to phrase things in any of those follow-up emails and things, we can give them some examples. I would always say, actually, you've got a relationship with the person, you've probably evolved a style of communicating that works for the two of you, and you don't need us to tell you what to say and how to say it. But if you genuinely are stuck as to what's the appropriate way to chase this and, how firm can I be in my wording, Ingrid will have some examples of stuff that she's used.
Yeah, I'm happy to pull those out, and maybe we should do some templates if people might find that useful. We could pop it on the portal, I guess.
Yeah. On this slide, I'm going to say this is entirely optional, but this is Ingrid's version of best practice. So I do not currently mandate that you have to report to me, but it is very, very helpful to be kept in the loop of what's going on. So Ingrid, tell us how you do it.
Yeah, so Kevin does get, I don't know, every about 6 weeks, possibly, I think it is. I wouldn't say it's very it's not very regular, but I try to do it sort of every 6 to 8 weeks. I try to send Kevin an update, just I think because I know he's aware that I've got quite a few. If I've got a few that are not answering the stuff, I want to know, like, Kevin, what can I do? Do you think I can do this? I've tried this, and I'll send him a screenshot of me trying to contact these people without any response. So I just use an email, really, and I just literally list them and say, this is where we are. The next one's like this. It's going really well. Tried to connect, no response. Tried 3 times. Here's copies of the email. Can you try? I want to end the relationship. Is that okay? And I have had that scenario. I don't tend to. You can maybe put key themes and discussions there if you wanted, but again, it goes back to that confidentiality thing. I wouldn't put it against the mentee's name per se, but you could possibly put at the bottom, common topics coming up are work-life balance, saying no boundaries, whatever things are coming. I wouldn't recommend putting it against the mentee's name because it's a little bit confidentiality is maybe being breached there. I personally would feel uncomfortable with it, but I think I've certainly said to you, I'm getting a lot of questions around these, but I haven't told you who the people are.
Yeah, and on that specific thing, that would be very useful actually, because we provide a lot of content alongside the mentoring, so the webinars and things. And we're constantly searching for inspiration of what should the topics be, what are the most relevant things to be helping people with. So if you've got common themes that come up in all of your sessions, then we can go and source those experts to kind of deliver those sessions for us.
I think that's everything on that slide. Yeah, and then concluding it. So yes, all good things must come to an end, so they say. Like to say it would be a clear endpoint. As I say, sometimes there is someone's matched and then just dropped off the face of the earth. So go and speak to Kevin is my recommendation there. Make sure that you've attempted over a couple of weeks maybe to get hold of these people, because I say holidays and things like that, things happen. It might be that your goals are achieved, that maybe they came to you because they're in between jobs and they were trying to get a little bit of a boost for finding a new role, and once they've got their new role, their time isn't available for that, so it will naturally come to an end, and that's an agreed thing. I've had a couple of like that, and I've just sort of said, oh, you haven't put anything in, it's been a month now, I hope your new job's going well. Is there anything else that you want to work on or discuss? Or would you like to end the relationship? And they've come back and gone, no, that's fine. Obviously, my door is still open for them, so they can come back. You can reactivate the relationship. I don't know if that's the right terminology, Kevin, that is used in Guider. I don't know if it's reactivate or something like that, but you can, if they came back to you and said, I would like to restart some mentoring with you on whatever topic it is, then you can do that. So there is closure steps in Guider. Can you demonstrate that, or was that going to?
Yeah, I can, absolutely.
And then just people can see how to do that, because I think unless people, if anyone's, I don't know if everyone's done it yet.
Just to reiterate, I guess the points on that slide. We would say that when you start a relationship, you should be working out when is it going to end, but things don't always go to plan. So if, for example, you have to end the relationship earlier, you can do. If you need any support from me in doing that, please reach out. But ultimately, the way that you conclude a relationship in Guider is from a platform perspective, the 3 dots up here. This is the same place where you'd leave a recommendation for your mentor as well. So you can do that at any time. But always best, obviously, when you are in the relationship, to think about what recommendation would I leave for them, because that builds up a picture on the mentor's profile of how good they are. So Ingrid's got a number of recommendations on her profile, which means that new mentees looking for a mentor can see that Ingrid already has 4 or 5 5-star reviews and that kind of thing. So it makes their decision easier as well. So all you have to do is to leave a recommendation, obviously click the recommendation. To end the relationship, you click that box. With the new forms, that will then trigger post-relationship survey, which, similar to the post-session surveys, will just capture how useful it was. Did you achieve the goals you were aiming to achieve? Any feedback for the program or the mentor directly, and all those kind of things. So you should be doing that in every relationship at some point. It might be because the relationship's gone perfectly to plan, you've achieved your goals, you've hit the final line in the sand that you drew at the start, or it might be that things have changed, you no longer need that support, or something's happened in either person's life. That's nobody's fault. It's just a matter of fact that for some reason the relationship can't carry on. And if it is that case, we will help you connect to an alternative person if needed, and help you close down that relationship if you've lost contact or anything with the individual.
And just to make mentoring easier, there's some templates, such as session log templates, goal setting worksheets. There's the feedback framework of Boost. I don't know if everyone's familiar with that, but obviously I put a little picture there of that. So it just keeps mentoring structured and consistent while still being flexible with your style. So really, I think as well, I need to say that none of this is mandatory. Every mentor's got their own style, how they want to track things, how they want to record things, etc. I've just find it that this is the best way for me.
And when we share this recording, we'll share as many templates for this kind of stuff as we can in Mighty Networks, so that if you want access to any of the things that Ingrid's talking about, there'll be a link to take you to them to download those.
Yeah, I think I still owe you some templates, to be fair, Kevin. I don't think I've
We'll
sent
sort
you
that
all
out.
of them.
We'll sort that out, Ingrid, don't we?
So yeah, and before we wrap up, just some practical next steps really. So review your own mentoring approach against the ideas we've discussed today. Speak with Kevin and align on expectations if you need to. I think we've all done the training, and I know Kevin's quite proactive, reaching out to mentors and probably mentees as alike. So try at least one new engagement strategy if you can in the coming month, and above all, share feedback so that we can continue improving the programme. So if it's regarding the platform or the way it's structured, then obviously reach out to Kevin and have a little chat with him and say and see. I know we're not absolutely got control over the guider, but I know Kevin's got a good relationship with the company that own it and build it and maintain it, so he can hopefully get some stuff done, like the forms, for example. They've gone live in this last week.
Yeah, so when we first started working with Guider, they were very much a startup organisation. They had, I would probably say, minimal viable product. You know, they had a solution that really helped us automate the matching process or allow it to be self-serve. But they were conscious that as a new organisation, they hadn't identified everything that could be useful to companies running mentoring and individuals involved in mentoring relationships. So they're really open to feedback. They have recently been acquired by a larger learning organisation called Thrive. So they're going to have a lot more time and resource going forward to be able to invest in product development and things. So we need your feedback really. So if there is anything that you find difficult in the platform or any other features that you think would be beneficial, it might already be in the plan because there's lots already planned, but there's no harm in you asking the question and raising that, and then we can put that into the pipeline, hopefully, of future changes. Ingrid, I think you want to just...
Lisa's put her hand up, so if we just speak to Lisa first.
Yeah, thanks, Ingrid. That's been useful. I just wondered, is it me or does anybody else have problems with Guider? Because I've got two mentors, and it's just unworkable for me. It just keeps freezing. So I didn't know whether it was better to use it through a browser or through the app. But what we're doing is we're doing everything outside of Guider. We're just, arranging our own online calls and indirectly, because for me, it just won't work. It just freezes at every time you try and put something in.
So is there a common part that it freezes on, Lisa, or is it different times? So is it like when you're using the video tool, or is it when you're trying to load the site? Where do you have issues?
It's really all of it. Just when I'm trying to add information, it just freezes, and then it keeps coming up with a message saying, "Do you want to wait, or do you want to cancel?" And I'll say wait, and then I'll start typing something else. It's just mostly in the messaging side of it, I think.
Have you tried it on multiple browsers, and which browser do you commonly use? Because it might be a browser-related issue.
Yeah, I've tried. I use Edge as my default, but I have tried it on Chrome, and then I was just going to download the actual app and see if it worked better through there, or kind of just uninstall and try again. But as I say, with both my mentors, it's just unworkable for me. I think it is definitely my end. But I just wondered if anybody else had that problem.
I find when if I share my screen, it goes a bit funny at times. I've had a few times where we've had to come out and then go back in to share, but there's nothing.
No, we've not even got this. No, we've not even got that far as being able to have a video call through it. It's from my side, it's just adding and updating the information, adding the notes and things, and just the back and forth between my mentors.
I've not noticed it with the notes. I mean, I would say definitely record the sessions just so that it's good for Reed to be able to see when the sessions are happening and how much they are. But there's nothing to say that you can't go on a Google Meet or a Teams call or WhatsApp, whatever's going to work best for you and that mentee. You can do that, but if it's regarding putting notes in, then that sounds like it's a Kevin.
Yeah, it's frustrating feedback to get, because it's really difficult to be able to help, because I'm using Chrome and Edge concurrently at the moment. So my mentee profile's in Edge and my mentor profile's in Chrome that I've been showing you, and I'd never have any issues. But I do hear people that say it's a bit slow to load and things sometimes, but they're using the same tools as me, so I can't get to the bottom of why that is. Let us know, because the more we report it, the more there might be something in their code or in somewhere in the way it's hosted that is causing like bottlenecks and things, and they can look into that. So the more times we report it, the more times we can say, look, there's clearly something wrong here. But I personally haven't had any of those issues, so it's quite difficult to diagnose what that problem is.
Yeah. Well, I'll have a go. I'll uninstall some of the little files and reinstall, and then what I'll do is if and when it happens again, I'll just kind of take some screenshots and I'll report it either to you or to them. So that where it says support, does that go directly to Guider then?
So that this little chatbot here would go straight to the Guider team. Anything that you send to me, I will send to the same team via email, but I'll obviously be looped in then. Going slightly off piece, but I think maybe something useful, because Ingrid, you mentioned the ability to do the video calls in Guider or not, and just some advice around that. I guess some advice around when you first match with your mentee. So one of the things that we say is use Guider as much as you can, because it allows us to have more visibility. But ultimately, if you need to go off Guider because of your functionality and things, you can do. So when you match with your mentee or mentor initially, the first thing I would do is reach out to them through the chat here to arrange that first session. And you can then choose within this chat to share any other contact details you're happy to share. So maybe email address or phone number for WhatsApp or anything. If you feel comfortable sharing that, you can do, or you can keep things locked into Guider. Once you have then agreed a time, I would agree a time first of all through chatting to each other and messaging each other, and then when you've agreed a time, you can schedule that session. The reason I say to do that first is because we aren't able to use Guider to its full potential, because Guider is designed to run internal mentoring programs where everyone's on the same technology platforms and things. So by default, Guider allows people to integrate their calendars, so that the scheduling is actually just like you're scheduling Outlook. It'll only show you gaps in your calendar and things. Because we've got 1,000 different companies trying to integrate into it, it wasn't able to work. So at the moment, Guider will pretty much show you a person's entire diary if they've made that available, which isn't really that practical. So what we say is agree a time up front, and then once you've agreed a time, go into Guider to kind of send the invite to each other. And if you click video conferencing, it will just send you the Guider link to use a Guider video tool. If you want to use a tool that isn't that, what I would say is set up your own Teams or Zoom meeting and then paste the link into location thing, so that when you get the meeting invite, the location will then be the meeting link to the external video tool. That's the way that I would approach that if you need to use something other than Guider for the calls. Cool. Ingrid, did you want to ask some questions around other people's experiences and get some feedback?
Yeah, it was just to pause really and hear from you guys, girls, what's working well in your current mentoring relationships, feedback on this session, where are the challenges, especially around sort of maybe, you know, the engagement, etc., if you're experiencing any of that yourselves. And yeah, I guess any extra support or resources that might help you be a more effective mentor, really. So I guess that's for Kevin a little bit on that question is. So and open to the floor.
Go on, Candy.
Hi, Candy.
Hi, Kelvin. Thank you, Ingrid and Kelvin. This is a great, insightful session, and thank you for sharing. And I have no problem using the Guider. But just one quick question about, can we set up a background when we have a meeting? Because I feel very embarrassed with my messy room, you know.
Okay, so I actually haven't ever used the video tool, so I didn't know that. So there isn't currently the option to blur your background or have a virtual background in there.
No.
Okay.
So I second that, because I agree with Candy. It would be nice to be able to do that, even if it's just as, you know, read with a network thing, just something. And then if people do, I don't know, they come in past you in the room, no one's going to see them and things like that. So,
And I have another question. It's not this free question. Is that okay? So Ingrid, I know you're a busy person and you have a lot of that responsibility in the office as well. So can you give me a piece of advice how to manage your time? You have to spend your time, energy with your mentee.
I make sure I block out time to give the mentee that time. I always make sure I've got half an hour prep before, so I'm not going to get caught by another meeting, which makes me late. I know I've had to reschedule some just due to work commitments, travelling lately. Unfortunately, I've been very lucky that those mentees have been accommodating, just as Kevin's been accommodating as well. This was supposed to be tomorrow, not today. So it's just making sure that I give that time. Obviously, if I couldn't find that time, then I would obviously need to speak to those mentees directly. At the moment, I'm lucky enough, I'm still able to juggle that around. Having to move a few maybe more into the evening rather than in the day for some, but that's more convenient for some of the mentees, I think. Again, it just goes into that open communication, really, of, what time of day is best for you, what's working for you, and just trying to make sure I block the time out in my work calendar if it's in the day.
Right.
And it's the same whether it was an internal mentee or an external. That's their time with me, and I protect that time as much as I can.
The one thing I would add is be realistic about how much time you've got up front. So when you first create your mentor profile, if you ever do that, Candy, there are two features. One is that you're asked what your mentee limit is, and you can change that anytime you want. But if you set that as one mentee limit, it means that when you get that first mentee, it will hide your profile automatically. Then you can kind of assess how much time is this taking. Do I actually have time for a second mentee? And then you can change the limit again if you want to. Or if you started with a higher limit because right now you feel like you've got time to take on 2-3 mentees, but anything changes, or one of your mentor relationships needs more time than you ever foresaw, you can go back into the platform and just manually hide your profile by unclicking the visibility box. So just make sure that you are being realistic about, are you actually in a position where you can take on an additional person, and then if not, make sure your profile's hidden.
Okay. Can you one last question, is that okay? Can you share a moment that you feel very proud to become a mentor?
Well, I've got a few since I've joined Reed, actually. So I don't want to break any confidentialities or anything. So I've had 3 mentees since I've joined that have actually found full-time work. So I've been very proud of that. And I've also, they've come back and said I've implemented some of the, like a 30-day wrap up on my diary that's there. And I put my lunch in, and I'm seeing the difference. It's giving me time. So when they tell me that they've tried what we've suggested and we've discussed, and they're seeing that realization of what we discussed and the benefit, it's makes me very proud to think that they've achieved one of their small goals, whether it's a small goal or a large goal. So yes, and also that it's a continuing relationship. So I've got some that are more longer term mentees. I have had some which have been quite short, as Kevin said. It might just be for a month. Whilst it's sort of like, oh, okay, that's fine, but they've got out of it what they wanted, so that's wonderful, and they know they can reach out whenever they want. But the ones that sort of got a bit more longevity are very rewarding as well, and they make you reflect as well after those calls sometimes, or they'll say something to you and it makes you think about yourself. So yes, no, it's it's very rewarding. I do enjoy it. So
thank you.
no, thanks. Good question. What else got any? Yes. I would struggle. Yeah. Thank you, Kevin. Taking me out of that one.
So I just want to say thank you, Ingrid, for the time, for the session, and Kevin. It's really insightful. I've had two mentees so far. One has been a very consistent and valuable engagement, really. The other has been kind of no show. So I'm not quite sure about that as well. But with the Guider app, the Guider platform as a whole, one thing I've noticed is at times it sort of kicks me out of my profile. So I try to get back on. It notifies me I have a message or just like a random notification. I try to get back in and I'm not able to get back in, and it's asking me to create an account, and it's really weird. So I leave it for the time being, and I give it 1 hour or few hours. I go back and I'm able to get in. So maybe that, I don't know, it could be an intermittent issue. It could be something anyone else has experienced. So that may be worth noting if there's a chance to give the platform a feedback. But that's it really. So again, thank you, Ingrid. To be fair, I think I'm gonna come over to your side to become a mentee.
The one that's not engaging very well. I mean, obviously, speak with Kevin about it. I would probably just send them a polite email and end that relationship would be my advice without knowing anything deeper or further, because they are using a slot that you could be providing someone with real value.
True. Yeah, I've had this situation where I actually did reach out to Kevin, and we ended it, and it was after we ended it I got a feedback, and I'm like, oopsie, too late now. But with the other one, it's just been no response at all, and I'm like, I can't even make out what is going on there really. But I think it's just going to I would have to politely end it as well. Yep. And see what happens. If they change their mind, come back, or probably we meet again in the future. We'll see how that goes.
I think Kevin will probably correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you also get people that might just join and match with somebody, and then they sort of think, I don't know, they sleep on it and then think, well, actually, I don't want to do that now. And rather than go back in and end it, they just leave it there. So that goes back to the just monitoring, the relationships that you've got there. But I mean, I've had one. I don't know how many I sent. Probably about 5 messages, and then I just ended it. I'm not even going to have a. So you do get a notification that relationship's ended, and I didn't get any response from that either. So I've just moved on.
For some people, it's just a situation where they're exploring things. They're interested, not exactly immediately. So they're like, oh, let's see how it goes, and boom, they've been matched, and they're like, oh, okay, I wasn't meaning to do that. I'm not ready yet. And I mean, that's not bad if you say, well, I'm thinking maybe we could get this started, say in a month or in 3 months, or we could end it now and pick it up later. I mean, I think communication or just saying something is a lot better than dead silence.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with that. Yeah.
Right. That's all for now. But to be fair, Ingrid, do you still have more slots for 2026? Because I know you're really sought after, aren't you?
But feel free to link with me on LinkedIn, and reach out to me. That's no problem. So if anybody, actually, it's a little bit of a side note, if anyone gets any, I don't know how this is happening, Kevin, and I do apologise, but I'm getting people reaching out to me because mentees are talking about me outside of this programme, and their friends are messaging me. So I am encouraging them all that they need to join, because it's not something that I want to do outside of Guider, and obviously I'm here to promote Read Women in Technology and support that. So I tend to send them Kevin's way, and I also say to Kevin, this person's reached out to me and wants to be. If I'm willing to take them on or not, I let him know, because he does have the power to add people to my list, even though I have hidden my profile. So yes, so it's I think at the minute I'm on a case-by-case basis is where I will go. I'm not openly, but a case-by-case basis I will look at people. If not, then Kevin can match them with someone else, because there are lots of mentors on the programme.
I think we have 261 available
Yeah.
mentors, so no shortage of choice.
Exactly.
Right, well, despite our best attempts to derail this, Ingrid, that was all right.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Done all right on timing as well. So thanks everyone for coming along. Genuinely, any questions about any of this stuff, reach out. If there's anything you wanted to ask but you didn't want to ask on video today, drop me a message.
Yeah.
We genuinely want you guys to get the best out of this that you can.
Message me on LinkedIn if people have my personal email, but
we do not want you to be struggling with anything, whether that's technology or the people. Like, genuinely reach out, ask us, because we all want this to go well for you guys. So we'll do everything that we can in our power.
Thank you everyone for your time.
Thanks, Kevin.
And I guess if there's any other topic mentory wise, then let Kevin know, and I'm sure he can sort something out. If it's not via myself, maybe another mentor.
Yeah, cool. Have a great afternoon,
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye
for
bye.
your time. Bye.